Zentiance, you're a little spicy tonight, man. I would ask, maybe let's avoid some of the ad hominem, but did the brain surgery, like I know you're a brain surgeon, was it a rough surgery today or what? Everything okay, man? You can always call me man after the show, but do you guys want to respond? He's shooting shots, so I think you guys got to shoot some shots back.
No, I don't even.
I mean, thanks for the money.
Unfazed?
That's like what, like 150 by now?
Yeah.
Like $200
Thank
a little
in the first hour.
Spicy. But okay, so bringing it back to the whole relationship thing. Okay, so I've had the experience where a lot of women will bend the truth of what actually happened to make them seem in as favorable of a position as possible. I think it's the reverse.
I feel like
guys do it
depend.
too, but I do think women do that shit way more.
I agree. I think it does depend. Obviously, I feel like it depends on who they go to. Like if it's girls going to their like absolutely best friend roommates, like you two.
Jared House super chatted $50.
Thank you, Jared.
You cannot let your parents or friends get involved because they will always be biased. Obviously, you should say something if you are being, but still.
Yeah. But it's just like if there's a little spat, a little argument, like if you're just always going to your friends and it's just, I think it's bad for the relationship and you're just coaching your friends to basically hate your significant other. And then of course, like there's always like, I don't know if any of you know, like on again, off again, people that are in these on again, off again relationships, like constantly breaking up, getting back together. That's when it's the worst because super toxic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So did you want to continue on, Sydney?
Nope, we're good. Okay. I think we touched it.
I wanted to say something though. Like I agree to a certain extent that like, oh, maybe you should, limit some things that happen in between, like in your private relationship. But there's like a certain point where if your significant other is constantly and maybe not abusing, because that's a big word to use, like that's a serious word.
Yeah.
But like if there's a endless amount of bad things happening in your relationship, like I totally believe that you need a strong support system behind you. So it's like going to someone like your friends or your family, like in certain times, I feel like is necessary, especially if this is like a constant thing. Are you referring to like it's only like, oh, like a little fight here and there, or like what? Because if it keeps happening, what, you just don't want them to tell anyone about it? Like no, like I mean I also just overshare, so I tell them like everything. But it's like, how could you not share all these terrible things that keep happening?
But
I don't think it's black and white. I don't think it's, you can never say anything to your friends. And I mean, if things are really on the rocks, then sure. But I think if it's like an occasional, argument, and you're also never telling them that things are really good too, like if the only thing they hear is the bad, but there are good moments, and perhaps most of the time it is good, but there are occasionally some disagreements, and you only go to your friends for advice when it's bad instead of occasionally saying, oh, things are great, I love him so much, whatever it is, then I think that's when it can get a bit problematic. I think also, I mean, I don't know, some of you are, if you do therapy or whatever, I think that's a really good outlet too, and I think can be a better outlet.
But can I also say too, like, I see it from that point of view, but it's also like, I have a girlfriend of mine and she comes to me whenever she has like, oh, this happened with the boyfriend, or oh, he did this, or oh, he like, it's just like, she comes to me with all these like bad things, and she tells me about the good things as well. But now every time she tells me something about him, I was just like, oh, I don't like him. I want you to like end things with him, just because she only comes to me with the negative. So it makes me only see that side of him regardless of how good things can be.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to wrap up on this point soon. Tara, when it comes to if you've just hooked up with a new guy, do you share like details with the friend? Is there girl talk, about details about the dude?
I probably wouldn't go out of my way to share like sexual details, but my friends definitely ask. So if they ask, I wouldn't say anything embarrassing, but sure. I would probably just tell them like, did I enjoy myself or not? And when I see him again, for sure.
Got it. Okay. So I'll speak for me. There's definitely some guys out there that I think do this, but I don't share any details. Like if I hook up with a girl, my friends don't even know, they don't even know that we've hooked up, that we've had sex. I don't share that. Some guys do. Maybe I'm a bit of an outlier on this. I don't know. I think, actually, let's ask the chat. Eric, can you pull up the chat? Yo, chat, let's say you've just hooked up with a new girl. Do your close friends, do they even know? Do they even know? Do you share intimate? Maybe they do know, but you keep it very vague. You say perhaps, yeah, we hooked up. It was good. You know, you keep it kind of vague. Or do you go into intimate details and you talk about, oh, it was this wet and it was the pussy was, you know, like, okay, it looks like a lot of no's, a couple vagues. So I guess it could either be no, vague, or yes, sharing, you know, similar to how they just describe sharing stuff. Nope. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. That's very interesting. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Like the difference between how men,
I think
some men do share that shit for sure, but like,
I think men talk about the
never
chase more than the actual activity of it, whereas women talk more about the activity of it than the chase.
I think guys just we don't even really talk all that much about.
You just don't talk to people.
Shit. That is true. I think one thing, like men, we need stronger brotherhood. We need stronger brotherhood, and we need to be able to talk more with each other. I think, and a lot of us I think there's more men who tend to be lone wolves
absolutely.
than there are women. So, yeah, but I mean, I honestly think don't hate me, ladies. I think it's wrong for women to share intimate details about someone that they've just hooked up with.
That's why we don't tell you.
Why?
Like, why does that bother you?
Well, for example, like, let's say, you know, if I've hooked up with a new girl and she's just told her 3 closest friends that, you know, penis size, the quickness with which I climaxed, or, you know, other details, that's like very private, because I view like that's super intimate, and you're like spilling, like, imagine. First off, I don't think, maybe I'm old fashioned. I don't think that you should tell other people about other people's like genitalia. Like, I don't know, that seems like a very private thing. Like, for example, let's say I was like, if you thought about it, like, let's say I was telling my guy friends the degree to which you were wet or dry.
So?
You don't, okay, what about if I mentioned like your labia size?
Yeah, Brian, don't you jokingly have a large labia advocacy charity? So what do you mean you don't like talking about other people's genitalia? Didn't you used to open the episodes with that?
You're right. However, no, but it's different because
Is it?
No, it's different because I'm never
It's
going.
different. Oh, it's different when he does it. Don't worry,
No,
guys.
no.
Don't worry.
100%. It's always different when he says something.
It is different when he
Well, no, it is different, and here's why. Because I never tell my friends about a particular girl. Oh, she had a wet pussy. She had a dry pussy. I'd never tell a friend she had an innie. She had an outie. What you're referring to, Tara? Hold on. What you're referring to is women have peen preferences. I have a labia preference. I happen to like outies. I said it. I like outies. Oh, saved by the bell. Thank you, SD.
$49.99. First of all, Chics, stop super chatting WTF. Second, being a girl is so easy.
Oh.
You literally don't have to perform in bed. Just lay there. And of course the girls prefer in person over Hinge. Average girls get approached constantly. Guys get rejected.
Yo, SD, thank you for the super chat. We'll talk about the easy thing here. A bit later on the show, we do have a video to react to related to that. Okay, so bringing it back to like the sharing intimate details thing. Yeah, I just think it's like a betrayal of trust. I suppose I suppose with your one night stands, you'll never see the guy again. Yeah. I suppose, but imagine like this is going to be your, like for me, for example, if I found, and look, I know girls do this, so it's like, and I think men should push back on this honestly, but like, I would think it's a betrayal of trust if my girlfriend, or well, I shouldn't say my girlfriend because we're not there yet, but like, let's say a girl I hook up with and we're both like interested in continuing to see each other, and if that blossoms into a relationship, then great. if her girlfriends that I assume at some point I'll meet know details about our sex lives, they have like information about me that they ought not to know.
Yeah, that's super fair. Because like if I'm seeing someone, like I don't want to know that his house, like I wouldn't want like his friends, like thinking his friends like knew what I looked like naked or like parts, you know. Yeah, so that's totally fair.
Yeah, it's
that
like,
would feel like kind of violating.
I don't know. Think about it. Like, let's say this is a guy that you really like and you want to have a long-term relationship with him, and you found out like he told you, or he told all his friends that you had like something weird, or like there was this weird thing, or like she did this and did that, like, and then you met his friends. That wouldn't make you a little uncomfortable?
I wouldn't care. I don't know. But
It wouldn't make you a
just-
little uncomfortable?
Well, because then it's like you're saying, and then that would be a double standard if I did care, but I don't care.
You don't care?
No.
Okay. I mean, that's totally fine if you don't, but to me, I just think it's a betrayal of trust.
I agree it is a betrayal of trust, but like this is only hypothetically speaking that you guys are actually going to go into a relationship and you guys are furthering things, you know, and if that is the case, then I would apologize for doing that and, you know, learn from that. But like as I said, like right now I'm single, and like right now I'm not in the state to go into a relationship right now.
Sure.
So.
I kind of agree. Like if it's like a one night stand, or it's like a guy that, like if it's like a
Yeah, but
friend
be
that-
honest, you do it with guys that are not just one night stands too.
I personally don't. I mean, but I also don't do like if it comes to like the last guy that I was seeing, like we like waited like quite a while before we like hooked up, and then we hooked up, and I was like, yeah, we did, and then like that's it. Like I didn't tell my girlfriends like any details. Still to this day, I didn't tell them details about that, because it's like, I don't know, like because this guy like comes to the house, he hangs out at the house. Like I don't need my like girlfriends thinking about those things necessarily. You know, like I'll tell my best friend who's lives in another foreign country all the details, but she's never going to meet these people.
Right. Listen, I 100% acknowledge that this is just something that, broadly speaking, women do. Like you guys,
We gossip. Like that's just the thing. Like
yeah, I acknowledge that it's something that women do, but like, oh, shit,
M.
hold on.
Martin super chatted $50. It's an age thing.
Thank you, Martin.
My friends are very successful and we're in our 30s. We talk about accomplishments in business. We don't talk about sex conquests amongst ourselves. That's lowbrow. And believe me, there's been some smoke shows. Still, no details.
Yo, Martin, thank you for the soup chat. Yeah, I mean, I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. It's not the crime of the century, but I do think it is, you know, it's just like men care a lot about respect. And like, I think it's just disrespectful. Like, honestly, one of the biggest things like you can do for a guy is honestly respecting him. And I do think like, listen, I know I'm probably not going to change your minds. I'm not,